And new developments have shown where, the former governor of Bayelsa State, in the person of Syriaca Dixon, and quite a number of other persons have come out to saying that, look, whatever it is, whatever it will be, that this tax reform bills will come to bearing, will come to be, regardless of what anybody thinks. I mean, there's been a power play where there's a lot of politics, intrigues that's been fueling Tinubu's tax, bill controversy, where the tax reform bills, which according to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are meant to protect small companies from paying taxes and put in place a system for addressing incessant cases of tax bills, have been met with stiff opposition, especially from northern politicians who insist that the reforms are targeted against their region, and that's just what the conversation has been all about. I mean, the last has definitely not been heard of the tax reform proposals presented to the National Assembly by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in September. I mean, deemed by the federal government as economic stimulants, the bills are yet to receive the backing of the legislature, especially those that we would call the House of Representatives, where northern lawmakers have joined forces with their governors to frustrate. If you also recall, on September 3 of 2024, the president submitted 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly for consideration, and that was based on some recommendations from the Presidential Committee on Fiscal and Tax Reforms, which was led by Taiwo Oyedele, to review the existing tax laws. And for you to have a committee on fiscal reforms, a presidential, it's not just anyhow committee. Now, it's a presidential committee on fiscal and tax reforms. You must also understand that quite a lot of efforts and resources and monies has been put in the committee to ensure a thought work. And now the updates from that committee has been, put out there. The president has gone through it and has said, well, okay, this might seem as though really this is really a different aspect of life, and considering, the challenges that the country is facing at a time like this. The bills include the Nigeria Tax Bill of 2024, aimed at providing a fiscal framework for taxation in the country, and the Tax Administration Bill, which seeks to offer, a clear and concise legal framework for all taxes, reducing disputes. And now the other bills are the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, which proposes to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act and establish the Nigeria Revenue Service and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill, which will create a tax tribunal and tax ombudsman. Well, way back in October, the influential Northern Governors Forum at gathering state had rejected the bills, and they had stated that they could cripple the region's economy if passed into law, a position shared by the 36 state governors the same week at the National Council meeting, which was presided over by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Now, the governors, as at October, had gathered in Kaduna State, including the host Ubasani Inuwayaya of Gombe, Dauda Lawal Dare of Zamfara, Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa, Babagana Zulum of Borno, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak of Kwara, and Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa. Now, we're also represented by the deputy governors of their respective states. Now, one of the bills is seeking an alteration of the VAT sharing formula. Now, y'all should pay attention now and follow. One of the bills is seeking an alteration of the VAT, that's VAT sharing formula, reducing the federal government share from 15% to 10%, but with a provision that the allocation among states will consider the derivation principle. Derivation principle. What is it that your state has as a resource? All right. According to Gombe State Governor Inuwayaya, he read that the Kaduna communique that the North is against the bill because companies remit VAT based on the location of their headquarters and tax office rather than where the services and goods are consumed. Well, who is our guest today as we go conversational, on this very matter? That will be none other but Mr. Adefolari Olamilekon. He is a political economist, a communication expert, and a consultant. He's also a lead researcher and policy analyst at Poleco analytics, right? And he's going to be adding his voice in the discourse this morning as we go engaging. Now, let's still put a little bit of some background to it, but it seems as though we've been able to connect with our guest in the person of Mr. Adefolarin Olamileko. Good morning to you, Mr. Adefolarin.
Good morning to you.
Oh yes, feels good to hear your voice this morning. Thank you for joining us, in this conversation this morning. Though, I mean, we're looking at the impact of President Tinubu's tax reforms on northern Nigeria, and we've seen that this tax reform bills began from September of 2024, and even though it started at September 2024, it has been a battle, an unending battle. As sometime in October, there was Northern Governors Forum, the NGF, had held a meeting in Kaduna State, and that meeting also was somewhat supported by the 36 state governors fighting against the, tax reform bills and all of that. And up until now, even though we've not heard so much from the other, governors from other region of the country, but it seems as though the northern governors have been very hot on these tax reform bills. We might want you to, you might want to unbundle, step by step, what these tax reform bills are and, what it portends for the average Nigerian. Are you there?
I'm hearing you.
Yes, you might want to unbundle what these tax reforms are and how it affects us as a people.
Hello, I didn't get you very well. Let me move away from the noisy environment.
Oh, okay.
I'm hearing you now.
All right. So we're talking about the fact that this tax reform bills has been stirring quite a dust. You might want to break it down for us in a way that we can properly understand the intentions and the probably hidden intentions, in the tax reform bills.
I think to start with is for us to simplify the essence of the reform in our tax administration, and a little recall a brief analysis in terms of when all this started was when President Tinubu inaugurated a 50-man presidential committee on on fiscal policy, fiscal reform and tax policy that was headed by Mr. Taiwo earlier this year, and they were given the mandate to look at, I think, about 6 critical areas that have affected our taxes, talking about multiple taxation challenges, talking about in-coordination of the tax administration in terms of collection and the challenge of tax evasion, as well as the challenge of non-remittances and non-accountability of the taxes. I think there are about 6 areas, critical points that they are asked to do. And they started with the fiscal reform. And they brought about a reform policy that for now is now changing how government will be spending money. Because when we talk about, when you want to really, really break this issue down, you to look at from the point of fiscal policy, which cover tax. On top of fiscal policy, you're talking about how government make money and how we spend money. Now, the first assignment of the committee was that they were able to show the government how it's going to be making money and how it's going to be spending money first in terms of the fiscal policy area where government will be putting money. Now, the second part is the tax aspect, which is generating issues, how government will be collecting money through tax. There are other areas to be mentioned, but tax is one of the areas that many people are looking at. Okay. Particularly, to break it down to the issue part. Now, in all, the document has been provided and it has been dissected in terms of public engagement, stakeholders engagement, and it was simplified in a way that we can have a single document that will address multiple taxation challenges in Nigeria. For instance, the federal government collects taxes in 9 areas. One of them is company income tax. One of them is national education tax. One of them is VAT. Another one is talking about development levy. Then petroleum income tax, the education tax. About 9 of them. The state government are collecting 25 areas. 25 areas collect money from collect money. Now, the local government is about 21. Now, the 25 areas that the state government are collecting are implication of what federal government is already collecting. So what the committee was trying to do was to harmonize and streamline all the areas of collection. Areas that unique government, state government not to collect, only federal government can collect, it was stipulated. Areas that only state government can collect, federal government cannot be collected, it was stipulated. And areas that local government will be collecting, where state government will not be interfering in collection, it was also stipulated. So those are the germane area of this document. But what have brought about controversy is the aspect of that, and they talk about the realization, which I know we are going to discuss in the course of our analysis this month.
Right. Well, that being said, though, I mean, the conversation is still, trending right here. Let's look at, what the controversy is basically about, Mr. Adefolari, because the debate on the tax reform in Nigeria's House of Assembly or House of Representatives has been somewhat suspended indefinitely due to the mounting pressure from the 19 northern state governors. The governors are opposed to the bills, particularly the value-added tax sharing template, which they believe will disproportionately affect the north. I mean, one of the champions of this has been the Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, who has been very vocal about his concerns, arguing that the bills will destroy the north entirely and benefit only Lagos states, and that the tax reforms which were transmitted to the National Assembly by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is aimed to provide a fiscal framework for taxation in the country and establish a clear and controllable taxes. Right now, do you think that this is a bill that is inimical or that negates the prosperity of the northern region? And what exactly is the argument about?
I think to start with is to first correct the misinformation that is in the public.
Right.
Number one, the House of Reps did not suspend the tax reform stuff.
Okay.
They are doing public hearings today. So they did not suspend it. It's just that the media framing of trying to engage the readers to the issue. Okay. That's why they said National Assembly, they did not suspend it. Right. What they did was to call for a public hearing. So when the media are now writing their story, all they can put out so that they can excite readers or draw readers to come and read that story, it will say it has been suspended.
Okay.
No, the National Assembly did not suspend the tax reform bill. Then secondly, there is also misinformation about what Governor Zulum is saying from what he has said. Governor Zulum is not against the tax reform. Neither is he saying that the tax is going to impoverish the north, or neither is he saying that the tax is going to make the north poorer than any other state, or is he saying that Lagos and Rivers will be any more? No, he's not saying that. What he is saying is that we need to look at the derivation formula that has been put across. And if you want me to begin to analyze this issue from the point of view of the document called the Tax Reform Bill that is before the National Assembly, the derivation bill is as simple as ABC. First and foremost, one of the provisions of the derivation bill is to ensure that state and local governments collect 90% of what is coming from VAT, as against 10% that federal government will be collecting.
Okay.
That's number one. Then number two, the bill is also envisaging a situation whereby the money will be collected and remitted according to what is generated in each state, not according to what is generated by a company, paid to the headquarters of the company, or the headquarters of the company paid to federal inland revenue. Because the impression that many people are saying, particularly some analysts are saying that because the company is registered in Lagos, when they are paying their tax, let's say they generate 1 million in Abuja, and the company is in Lagos with headquarters, and they generate 1 million in Abuja. Now, the 1 million will be taken to Lagos because headquarters is in Lagos. That is wrong. Something like this information people need to clear their mind of. And the funniest thing is that the majority of people that are making this information, this wrong notion about this, they didn't even go through the document. They didn't even open the document to look at it and look at it line by line. But they are just looking at what some politicians are saying. And it's quite wrong. Including a former presidential candidate also putting his mouth out. The issue is that the document needs to be read wide by everybody. If you don't understand the document, listen to analysts that are even pointing out issues in the document that I'm bringing this morning and pay attention to it. And the other aspect that is making people, especially people of the north, and it's funny enough, of very sad, majority of the people talking, especially our brothers and sisters on the north, who are making wrong impression about this, are not looking at it from the point of innovation. It's an innovation whereby when the money is generated to East and distributed to East, accountability will be given. The another aspect that is also generating controversy that some agency will be scrapped. And it is wrong. No agency will be scrapped. Meanwhile, they are not talking about the aspect whereby the tax, the bill has reduced the burden of multiple taxation. Imagine state governors collecting company income tax from companies. Is that are they the ones collecting company income tax? I don't know whether
and that is going on for so long.
For so long. Are they the ones to be collecting motorists supposed to tickets supposed to be paid to local government, but state government are collecting the money for motorists. I mean, transporter. The ticket that you are seeing that are selling at garage, it's supposed to go to local government, but state government are collecting it. So this policy will streamline that money is meant for local government to look. They are not talking about they are not talking about educational tax that has now been reduced. They are not pointing the aspect that ordinary people will definitely benefit, but they are talking about the area that they have been looting over the years. Because when you talk about this innovation that this policy is bringing, you want to reduce the empire speech of governors, particularly state governors, who will just put hand into the tax money that is being generated in the state and waste it anyhow. So we must look at the other aspect that is more genuine, that's bringing about innovation, and also make state government to be more proactive, not to be docile and waiting for further allocation every end of the month.
Well, some are saying that this tax reform bills is going to be an expose, right? More like a torch, or a searchlight into the northern region, and it will expose quite a number of lacunas and decadence that has been that's been going on within that region, and that it would indeed serve as a beamer of hope for the masses of the northern region. It's more like an awareness point of view in seeing and being a part of governance and politics in the most positive way. You've already heard our guest right there. I mean, Mr. Adekon right there, trying to bring to our notice the concerns that regard the bill. Well, you might have your thoughts in this regard. I mean, but before I let you into adding your voice to it, as explained in simple language. Now, the first would be the new way of sharing money. Now, the government collects a type of tax called the VAT, valued added tax, right? Now, they want to share this money in a way so that states and local governments can get more. That's one. Secondly, help for people who don't earn much. Now, this tax is also looking at the government wanting to help people who don't earn a lot of money. They won't take as much tax from them, so they have more money to buy, things. This is just me trying to break it down in a very explanatory way, right? And another angle to it would be no tax on doesn't want to take tax on food and other important things that people need, right? And that this will help make things, a lot more cheaper, or these things quite cheaper. And you might also want to consider help for small businesses, where the government is wanting to help small businesses like market stalls or small shops, so that they won't take tax from these businesses, so they can grow and make more money. And the last would be less tax for companies, where the government wants to take less tax from companies so they can grow and make more money, and this will help create more jobs and make the country richer, right? Mr. Defalari, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
A bit of a glitch right there. So let's 87668888, and the WhatsApp portal number is 0909-705-4450. Might I also add that you can also join the conversation across social media platforms via at Eagles FM Abuja. So at Eagles Abuja. You can see what's going on via the studio, the YouTube channel right there at Eagles FM Abuja, and the Facebook page wall at Eagles FM Abuja. So what will be your questions or thoughts? And please, let's keep it short and simple. The WhatsApp portal messages should go straight to the point, no voice notes. Let's just have the messages run through, and we can indeed, take a lot of your thoughts about this. You asked for it, and now here it is. Let's get into a little bit of a historical, context. I mean, the northern region of Nigeria has historically been opposed to policies that promote economic development and progress in Nigeria. Now, this opposition has led to a lack of economic development in the region, and that has resulted in high levels of poverty and inequality. If we are to look at it from the economic factors, you would discover that the tax reforms propose a revised, VAT sharing formula, which allocates 10% to the federal government, 55% to state, and 35% to local governments. The reforms also propose a reduction in corporate income tax from 30% to 25% over 2 years, elimination of multiple tax in companies, and support for small businesses through tax exemptions. It has social factors now. The tax reforms have significant implications for the people of northern Nigeria. For instance, right, the revised VAT sharing formula may lead to reduced revenue for state governments, which could exacerbate poverty and inequality in the region. Now, political factors also comes from the place where the northern governor's opposition to the tax reforms is led by Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, who has been vocal about his concerns. Zulum is arguing that the bills will destroy the north entirely and benefit only Lagos and Rivers State, respectively, but the guest has been able to clarify that. However, we haven't seen much fuss from the other states of the Federation, so could this mean that the other states are okay with the tax reform bills? And if the other states are not okay with it, are the other states hiding, under the cloak of the Zulum to speak? Well, we don't know what that will be for sure, but let's get to hear from you. I see you calling a while ago. You can put that call through 0907 353 0044. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, good morning, Alamin.
From Central. Yes,
Right.
Thank you so much.
Right.
You see, like I've always been saying, UD, I'm beginning to believe, the nomenclature out there that northern interest is to stagnate and regress Nigeria. And it's unfortunate. Let me put it out there that northern political class does not mean we northerners. People must learn to distinguish between the two. Northerners are different from northern political class. Our greatest enemy that is responsible for our backwardness, underdevelopment, people that are weaponizing poverty, people that have refused to be productive, that despite the allocation they've been getting over the years, our region remains the poorest, the most insecure. The highest number of out-of-school children, the highest number of poverty rates. These are what the northern political class wants to, reduce the north to. And we northerners are saying no. This very, tax reform is to favor, in fact, northern Nigeria will be the greatest beneficiary of this. The only fear where some governors are coming out to talk about the formation, the derivative sharing and the DAC, it tells you the mindset of these people, that they don't want to be productive. They are so relaxed. They are so comfortable sitting in their state, sending their commissioner for finance to Abuja to come and be begging Lagos. Remember when Lagos went to court about the DAC and for our River State? The same our northern political leaders were begging Lagos State to be your brother's keeper. I am quoting the Yobe State Governor, Babatin. He said, be your brother's keeper. Don't go to court. Let us share the money. That is what the state governor was saying. This is the mindset of an average northern political leader. They want to subjugate and pulverize us, and we are rejecting it. This bill will liberate other Nigeria to
Okay.
make us to be productive. Get jobs. 90% of Nigeria in support of this bill. It is only an enemy within us that do not want northern Nigeria to be liberated. The mess that we find ourselves that is opposing the bill.
All right.
Zulum does not speak for me. Zulum does not speak for my state. In fact, my state has, a workshop yesterday where our commissioner for finance were visiting people, the entire governors of North Central Nigeria are in support of this. Zulum is only speaking for Borno.
All right, Alamin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, Alamin right there, giving us 2 cents on the matter. You also want to add your voice, or probably you need some clarification, and you need to ask that question already. Call 0907-353-0044 or 0908-766-8888, and get onto the WhatsApp portal number now, 0909-705-4450. Leave a comment right there, and of course your comment will be heralded loudly and clearly. Well, let me get back with you, Mr. Adefolari. I mean, just recently, the chairman Senate Committee on Ecology and Climate Change, Seriaka Dixon, and PDP by West, said National Assembly will pass the tax reform bills despite opposition from different quarters. Dixon, who was in an interview with newsmen in Abuja on Monday, said the bills would be passed, like the petroleum industry bill, the PIB, stressing that heavens would not fall when the tax bills are consequently passed. But just before you give your reaction to that, let's just take this call. Hello and good morning.
Sorry, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Obasanjo, good morning to you. Feels good to hear from you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling you from Amali, Niger State.
All right, Amale, Niger State, Obasanjo. Let's get into it.
Thank you. My senator, who is representing the Zone B in my local government, is from my local government. It's somebody that I knew very too well. Can he come out and say he supported this bill? Not that it's not good, but what the outcome of it, like the oil subsidy that we remove, that Mr. Pooh are earning from the government, knew it. How many times some of these senators came out to their constituency or go out to their constituency, gather people, town hall, before implementing us, we are collected in the means of what? Doing better things. We are collected in the means of what? Doing better things to Nigerians. But after white men out of this country, those things out. That is why you see in the north, the poor man in the north is against it. Why? Because he knew the top politician. Now
Right.
we are against. Barrister, I am telling you, we are against it. Why? Because we know, we have seen the petroleum bill, the subsidy bill. Where is the accountability of it today that leave us in suffering, in pain? That is not the issue. How many of the senators has gone back to their constituency, sit down with the masses and bit of it?
Okay.
There's no benefit. The benefit, they will travel to abroad without money and do away and leave the poor man living in the community without no light, no a health system, no education. Not if I should send you the pictures of primary school, sir, you will pity, you will pity, you will pity, you will pity.
All right, Obasanjo.
Thank
Understood.
you.
Thank you so much, Obasanjo, though, venting his thoughts right there. But let's even quite get to understanding, some of these concerns. But just before we do that, Peter Obi, the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has advised the federal government to hold public hearings on, the proposed tax reform bills rather than rushing to pass them. I mean, he emphasized that tax reform is a critical issue that requires robust and informed public debate. He also believes that public hearing will allow Nigerians from all walks of life to engage meaningfully and contribute to policy making. Atiku Abubakar, had also shared similar views, calling for objectivity and transparency in the conduct of public hearings. He had stressed that the tax reform bills should align with interest of the vast majority of Nigerians, and the proposed tax reform bills have generated intense public discourse. Some Nigerians expressing concerns about the potential impact on the economy and their livelihoods, just as Obasanjo had also said. Others have criticized the government for rushing to pass the bills without adequate public inputs. Mr. Adefolari, would you say that there has been a rush in passing these bills and that the necessary stakeholders have not been contacted, in view of this bill?
I don't think so. I said something earlier that when this committee went into work, they have invited stakeholders across the country to speak on the particular issue. And they have all made up their input. That bill that you see there is not made by one person. It's not by president. No, it's not by Taiwo. It's not by different organization, Nigerian Labour Congress, tax administrator, local government chairman. Everybody was represented to speak, and they suggested. Why are they not? I didn't mention. Why are they not saying that the 25% the company income tax that have been reduced is not good? Why all these presidential candidates are not talking about that one, or saying why did you reduce company income tax? Why did you remove education tax? Why did everybody focus is on that derivative?
Can you explain? Can you explain the derivative to us exactly? Maybe so we understand.
The derivative is this. The derivative is sharing of the VAT collection.
Okay.
I gave an example. I said, let's say a milk product. The milk product is produced in Lagos, and now let's say the consumption of that milk product in Abuja gave the company 1 million value of VAT to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you are getting it.
Yes.
Let's say 10 cartons of milk was consumed in Abuja, and that 10 cartons of milk would give Abuja 10,000 naira as VAT. Now, when they are paying that VAT, it will be paid to Abuja because it was 10 cartons that was consumed in Abuja, and it was 10,000 naira that was realized from VAT.
Okay.
Now,
so regardless of where it was produced.
Yes,
we're talking about the consumption place.
Now, let's say in Niger State, now, the other man that called from Niger State of Obasanjo.
Yes.
Now, let's say a 10 bag of rice was brought from Lagos and it was consumed in Niger State. And that 10 bag was VAT amount to 5,000 naira. Now, that 5,000 naira will be paid to Niger State government. That was what was called. That is derivation.
Oh, okay.
Now, that is the explanation. But the problem with some states is that they are now claiming that if that is the way to go, that means what they are getting initially they will not get as much as possible. But if a government in the same what do you call it, this tax bill that comes, there's a 5% that will be shared. That 5% they will take it from federal government and share it to all the states, and all the states will also have a balanced portion of derivation or water collection. So the fear now is that I know where the fear is. We have discussed this before. I think about 4 weeks ago. And when I said in terms of alcoholic consumption, Benue State is top on the list of alcoholic consumption in Nigeria in 2023.
Right.
And what was amounted from alcoholic consumption was about 300 billion. But how much did Benue State get? You know how much Benue State will collect?
Well, let me quickly put a peg to your thoughts. Let's go pay some bills. We'll come back and we'll have this conversation as you also give your wrap-up thoughts. You're listening to Let's Just Go Pay These Bills. We'll be right back.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Playing the best music from yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This is
102.3 Abuja.
24. Theme: Driving transformation through value reorientation, inclusive leadership and sustainability. Chairman of the conference, Deputy Speaker, Nigeria House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Carlo, Honorable Iman Suleiman Ibrahim. Father of the Day, His Highness Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi II. Mother of the Day, Dame Timi Agari. Speakers, Senator Ned Nwoko, Senator Owele Rochas Okorocha, Her Excellency Erelu Olabisi Adeleye, Fayemi, Duka, His Excellency Labaran Maku, Engineer Dave Umahi, venue Sandralia Hotel, number 1 Solomon Law Way, Jabi, Abuja. Date 3rd December 2024. Time 9 a.m. prompt. For inquiries, call 0803-313-9506. Nkatandi Nyumibo Foundation, partnering for development. Signed, Ambassador Nonye Rajis Opera, Chairman, Conference Organizing Committee. Nadine Aziechi, National Publicity Secretary, Nkatandi Nyumibo Foundation.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this infomercial.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Do you want to work in the healthcare sector? Do you want to be a trained, certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's one-year diploma in certified nursing assistance training happening at the African University College of Science and Technology, Abuja. Targeted trainees are unemployed graduates, O-level or ordinary diploma graduates, or anyone interested in working as a support worker in the healthcare sector. For details, log on to www.pushafrica.org or WhatsApp 080-339-42015, 080-339-42015, 080-339-42015. For registration, pick up application form at our partner radio stations or visit the reception at the African University of Science and Technology, Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Here to stay.
A kowace irin al'umma da ilimi ake tinka. Yanzu fa tazarar tana kokarin ta kai tazara.
Musamman mu 'ya'ya mata da a wannan zamani ya kamata a cusa mu makaranta. Sai aka bar mu da yawon gararan ba da tallace-tallace.
Ashe kaga ya zama haƙƙi ga iyaye da kowa mai hanin jinka.
Mu tabbatar da ana cusa yara makaranta.
Su samu natijar ilimi su daidaita da zamanin su.
Kuma zamanin su ya tinkaho da su. Amma rashin sa yaran a makarantar ya jawo an mana tazara a kowace harka ta rayuwa.
A Najeriya kimanin yara sama da miliyan 20 ba sa makaranta.
Har ma masu ƙididdiga suka ce miliyan 8 a kudu, miliyan 12 a arewa. Shi yasa hukumar ilimin bai ɗaya ta ƙasa wato UBEC ta ce
mai kafaɗa da kafaɗar tunani wajen cusa yara makaranta.
Domin gadon ilimi ya fi gadon dukiya.
Wannan sako ne daga hukumar ilimin bai ɗaya ta ƙasa wato UBEC.
Himma da ƙwazo ƙoƙarin mushinku jama'a kiranmu nake bisa dagewa.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Here to stay.
I don't need no liquor. I'm intoxicated by you.
My country people, who work is supposed to enjoy you after all the hustle. You not supposed to take your comfort play to fit sleep the way it's supposed to be. Make you go grab your Eurofoam mattress. Make you forget your full comfort. Whether na Euro Spring, Euro Orthopedic, or semi-orthopedic, Diamond and Diamond Plus. And for Comfort Pro Max, Eurofoam don't introduce latest in town. That na Euro Elite. This one, they sleep jolly meant no get equal. Eurofoam get quality pillows and sheetings. Eurofoam shop yakpa everywhere for Bodo Nigeria. Eurofoam, sleep the way it's supposed to be.
Your body fine like so. And you can be my more.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
46 minutes gone past the hour of 9, and we're still talking politics and current affairs because this is Eagle's new outlook where we talk politics and current affairs. Remember, the powers in the people, and the politics is what we address. We're still looking at the impact of the tax reform bills on northern Nigeria, and our guest has still been Mr. Adefolari Olamilekon. He is a very well-renowned economist who has added his voice on countless number of concerns that regard, the growth and development of our dear country, Nigeria. Mr. Olamilekon, welcome aboard and welcome, to the conversation. Yeah, right. So, as it stands right now, Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, they've all come out to saying, oh, you know what, we should take it to the public hearing and all of that. But then I'm trying to really understand the real reason behind the resistance from northern, politicians. And to my thoughts, I stand, or I sit to be corrected though. Firstly, it seems as though the bill aims to increase taxes on certain goods and services which could disproportionately affect the northern region. Now, the north is a major hub for trade and commerce in Nigeria, and any increase in taxes could lead to higher prices for consumers and reduced profit for businesses. Maybe another reason for the opposition is that the bill poses a new VAT sharing formula which could reduce the amount of revenue allocated to government. Northern politicians are concerned that this could lead to reduced funding for critical infrastructure projects and social services within their region. And maybe lastly, there are also concerns about the potential impact of the tax reforms on the agricultural sector, which is the significant contributor to the northern economy. Now, the bill is proposing new taxes on agricultural products, which could increase the cost of, production and reduce the competitiveness of northern, farms. But overall, the opposition of the tax reform bills from northern politicians is driven by concerns about the potential impact on their region's economy and the well-being of their constituents. Is this correct?
I stand to be corrected. All those reasons that you have pointed, the only reason I have made mention of it, everybody's aware of the only reason. The only reason, and let's first start, there is no portion in the clause of that law that is going to impose new taxes on anybody, including human beings and products. There is no clause. Let's clarify this. Anybody that is putting out all those lies are just lies to paint the document as if it is going to cause problems for the north or for some people. There is no clauses there. There is no clause that talk about any impact on any agriculture. No. The key problem that we have that is generating issues is that derivation formula for sharing. Every other thing in that document is as simple as everything, and there is no clause in that document that talks about a new tax on agricultural products, new tax on trade. No, nothing like that. I was shocked. I read an article by someone, and it's one of the intelligent from the north, and it was made. I think maybe that's where some people are drawing inspiration from. And this guy did not even go through the document at all. So yesterday, and said that Nathaniel will be scrapped. About other agencies will be scrapped, and it was a lie. No agency will be scrapped. There's taxes on any agricultural product. There's no taxes on any trade. And talking about taxes on new trade, is it only the north that are doing trading? Are they not doing trading in Onitsha? Are they not doing trading in Lagos? Are they not just doing trading in Ibadan? Are they not doing trading in Abuja where we are today? Are they not doing trading in Suleja, in Gogolada? Trading is everywhere across the country. So any impose of any tax is definitely trading across. And I will say today, there is no tax. And let us also educate ourselves. Federal government is not charging any tax on any agricultural products in Nigeria. It is state government and local government that normally collect tax on agricultural products. Except agricultural product is only to finished product to be exported. That's why federal government collect tax on agricultural products. It is state government that collect taxes on agricultural products. Either gari, either maize, either corn, either guinea corn, either millet. It's state government and local government that collect. And that tax supposed to be for local government, or state government hijacks all those processes. So that's been clear.
All right.
Secondly, the issue is the derivation. And if we see people like Obi and people putting their mouth in this kind of issue, it's just we are working their political popularity. Normally, these two people, even in their own manifesto, they have it in mind. I wrote an article before 2023 election, and I pinpoint that the three presidential candidates are physically individuals. They believe in capitalist economy. So whatever Tinubu is doing today, be rest assured that if it's Obi that is there, he will do the same thing. Right. If it's Atiku that is there, he will do the same thing because they are all capitalist inclined politicians. They are not socialists. They are not people-oriented politicians. They are elite politicians. They believe in elite survivor. So whatever policy that Tinubu is doing, the rest assured that Obi will do the same thing. Atiku will do the same thing. So why they are putting their mouth in this issue is because we isolate their political consciousness so that they can talk to their members and see that they are still making, they are also putting mouth in the issue. Right. Normally, these are not issues that they should be putting mouth. That's why I asked the question. Why are they? They are two of them are businessmen. When this tax policy will reduce company income tax, meaning that they will not be paying as much tax they are paying before. Why are they not talking about that one? But they are talking about the one that will talk about how states can be innovative and very, very spiral in terms of business innovation.
Right.
So that is the issue. The issue is about derivation.
Well,
it has nothing to do with agricultural food. And there's no clause in that law that want to impose any tax on any agricultural product or any trading in Nigeria.
All right, let's take this one from Salma from Kado. Salma saying that, good morning, UD. Happy New Month. All right, Happy New Month to you too. It says, I'm not in support of the tax reform bill. All right, Salma, thank you for that one, though. Appreciate that. Let's see if we can take one more call. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, Uncle UD.
Yes, good morning to you, please.
My name is Solomon Language.
Solomon, thank you. Where are you calling from?
Happy New Month, sir.
Thank you. Where are you calling from, please?
From Anagada.
Anagada, all right.
Let me greet you, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Fine.
I've been listening since 6 o'clock. You're doing a great job.
Oh, appreciate that, Solomon. God bless. All right, yeah, Solomon right there showing some support. Well, you already heard it from our guest. Finally, to put a rest, to the thought line. Okay, let's just take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, UD.
Yes, good morning to you, please. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Abubakar calling from Gwagwalada.
Right.
The guest speaker, he has spoken eloquently.
All right.
But why is President Tinubu policies are fiscal oriented? They are not creating wealth. They are not creating general prosperity. With the subsidy remover, the APC government promised us they will have enormous trillions at their disposal. They will build infrastructure, rail infrastructure, utilities. They will have enough to invest in education, invest in building refineries. None of this is available. So now we have not recovered from the pain of subsidy remover. You are now want to apply oppressive taxation, which in the end it will it will diminish people's purchasing power with the already dilapidated naira strength, weak naira. So a lot of things. Right. They have increased, they are expanding people poverty indices, hunger and suffering. What kind of government? You can't call this reform.
But can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Are you privileged to have gone through the tax reform, bills to go through the document in itself? Have you seen it? Have you gone through it?
I'm a layman. I don't need to go.
And that's why we shouldn't. Sorry.
Yeah. They all promise us heaven and earth.
Understood. That's why we're having this conversation on this one.
Did the subsidy remover translate into general prosperity? Let me tell you, there are civil servants here in Gwagwalada who ration going to offices weekly. Some who attend to their office twice in a week. We have teachers, public primary school teachers, who go to school maybe 2 or 3 times in a week. It has affected all sectors of our economy.
All right. We're talking tax reforms and not but I understand your thoughts. Appreciate that one from you. Well, then, this is why we have a platform to talk about these things. And if you have a layman thoughts line on this issue, it would have been best to just listen through. Maybe you could pick 1 or 2 things that were very relevant, to the discourse. But yeah, Mr. Defolari, even if it's in one sentence, let's just have your closing thoughts.
Appreciate Baka from Gobarada.
Right.
The problem we have with this document was that it was not well disseminated to the point that people can know about it. Abubakar is talking about imposing ash tax. There is no portion in that document that is talking about imposing ash tax on anybody. Rather, it has further to reduce those taxes in Nigeria. That's what the document is all about. I think where people should concentrate is that this policy, this document want to liberalize tax collection from a centralized pooling system that we have had, whereby state governors are interfering in taxes that local governments are collecting, and federal government on its own is collecting tax that, in a way that we don't have understanding of how this money is being distributed. And that's why the document want to bring to our bearing. And also ensure that they receive some money.
Yeah.
It's so fortunate that people like Baka did not have the opportunity to go through the document like someone like me. I've gone to read through it, to do program on TV, and analyze, write article about it. So we need to pass this information to people to understand that this policy is not to bring more tax to Nigeria, but to liberalize the tax system and make it more transparent for Nigerians to see. We also appreciate that the physical policy of President Tinubu If I know, I said it from
Mr.
2017
Defalari,
when I wrote about
I
it.
wish we could go on with that, but we would not be able to go on with that as other programs are already slated for that. But I appreciate you. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Maybe this will not be the end because the conversation and the discourse is still ongoing. You never know.
Right.
Tomorrow, next tomorrow, through this week, it might just be a need for sensitization and awareness so that everybody is fully aware of these the issues in it, and which should go contrary to what popular belief is about. But thank you far too kind for opening our eyes to it. We look forward to more conversations in the coming days. Right. This is where we call it a close, and we want to appreciate you too for being a part of this. One line still buzzing. Can't go any further on this one, but thank you far too kind for the messages and listening through. This is where we say bye-bye. But